Love was never about getting it from somebody else. Love is something that I am. Love is what my heart already has in it. And so I don't need to reach for others to give me that love. And the more that I open my heart and the more that I love myself, the more that then I attract people who also match that level of love. And then it's a win-win because it's like, I don't need that love, but I'm receiving that love because I'm already giving it to myself. And that started to open up my heart more and more and more. And, when it comes to romantic relationships and platonic relationships, I feel like right now, especially my romantic relationship, is a testament to that work that I've done to de-armor my heart, because I have a man who really, really loves me at my depths and really sees me and doesn't run from the relationship when things get hard. And he's a match to the love that I've been able to cultivate within myself. And then with community and friendships, it's something that I'm opening my heart up to more and more as I live in a beautiful community here in Costa Rica.
Today's guest is Joanna Sanchez, an embodiment coach who helps women come home to their bodies and lead from the feminine instead of grinding in the masculine. Somewhere around age 10, her family moved her out of Miami into a small town in Florida. She went from big city energy to a place that felt contained, quiet, nothing like home. Back in Miami, she'd been passionate about singing, had to audition just to be in chorus. In the new town, chorus was just a class anyone could take. That took the wind out of her, and she stopped singing altogether, something she'd only now finding her way back to. She spent 7 years building a fitness coaching business and 2 years competing in bikini bodybuilding, chasing a body built for a stage. What she found on the other side of that stage was wrecked hormones, isolation, and a body that finally looked the way she wanted to. She burned the whole thing down and rebuilt around somatic healing instead. Today, we're talking about kindness, the kind you hand to a stranger without blinking, and the kind you have to relearn how to give yourself. We get into the armor she built around her heart, the cover she kept redesigning so nobody would open the book, and what happened the day she finally let people see what was actually inside. Welcome, Joanna Sanchez, to the Memoirs podcast. Today's theme is kindness. What is the kindest thing someone did for you today? Something small, something you didn't have to ask for. We can usually name the kindness we gave away this week faster than the kindness we let ourselves receive. There's a saying often credited to Lao Tzu, though the sourcing doesn't actually hold up. The longest journey a person take is 18 inches from the head to the heart. Today's theme is kindness, and kindness only arrives after the 18 inches trip from the head to the heart. Joanna Sanchez spent her days walking women down that exact road. Welcome, Joanna, to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I know, I know. I'm happy to do this too. The things we were happy to do, right? The things we're happy to do.
Yes.
So for you to answer that question, maybe since it's early morning for you, what is
Mhm.
the kindest thing somebody did for you today or yesterday?
The kindest thing somebody did for me yesterday is just spend quality time walking on the beach. I did that with one of my friends yesterday, and I feel like that was kind because it was a really heartfelt experience where we were both just in this like vortex of just like supporting each other, inspiring each other, talking about our wins, talking about things in our business. And I feel like it was like what you talked about, kindness comes from the heart, and that was a very heartfelt experience for us.
I woke up this morning, I was like, I'm gonna ask Joanna this question. This one gonna take you back before we jump into our kind of structure here. But if you had to take us back like between age 10 and 12, like what was going on in your world? What was happening for you? Where were you? Like what was happening for you during that time? 10 to 12 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Okay, I need to do some math here. Do we know what year that was? 1995 plus 10. 2005. Oh my gosh. The first thing that comes to mind was me moving out of Miami. I can't remember if I was 8 or 10. But that's the first thing that's coming up is like moving out of Miami into a smaller town in Florida that was so different. So I went from like big city energy to like really small town energy. And I was like the new girl, the new Cuban girl in school that everyone was talking about because I was almost like an anomaly there. Like Miami people are so like loud and expressive and like just so out there. And I feel like the town that I was in, everyone was a little bit more contained and not as like expressive and loud. So it was definitely an adjustment for me, like culture shock.
You remember where you were? What was going on for you as a person, as a kid at that age? What was going on for you?
I feel like I was in a season or a stage in my life where I was trying to understand like where I fit in, especially after having friends for so long that I grew up with and then just being thrown into a smaller town. Also during that time, like when I was in Miami, I was very passionate about chorus and singing. And when we moved out of Miami into a smaller town, chorus was like a class that you took. And in Miami, it was like you had to audition to be in the chorus and like you had to be good to be in it. Whereas in the smaller town, it's like, oh, this is just a class that you take. And that like made me really upset. And from that moment on, I stopped singing, which is interesting because it's something that I'm feeling called to do more of as of recently to like reactivate my voice. So it was more around my expression, like who am I? Like who am I now that I'm not in the same environment that I was when I grew up with my friends? I'm in this new town. Like who really am I? I feel like that was
Mm.
what was happening. Like what identity? Like who is this girl? I wasn't even a teen yet.
No, this is interesting. You mentioned singing. I'm gonna play with this a little bit. So if you like to sing, does that mean you like to write stuff from the heart, like you like poetry? You like so what is that for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like that side of myself, like the creative side, is starting to come online more and more. The more that I trust in life and the more that I have faith that I'm provided for and taken care of when I follow my dreams and follow my heart, the more that I'm feeling like more of what I call like the creative life force, feminine energy coming online for me. Because a lot of my life was like hustle, masculine, super like hyper masculine, always needing to achieve and do in business and achievement, success. And I still love all of those qualities about myself, but now I'm like slowing down more in my life and allowing myself to tap in more to my creativity. So I mean, it's really funny, but my creative outlet right now is editing videos. I really love to edit videos. And then I want to hire a vocal coach who I met here to support me in activating more of my voice. Writing is something that I used to do in high school and I was really good at, but I'm not actually writing captions on my pictures, I don't like. I rather speak. I rather like express through my voice.
Mm.
Yeah.
So she loves editing videos.
Yes.
What about editing videos that appeals to you?
I just love seeing because right now I'm really focusing on YouTube. It's a dream of mine that I've had for a really long time, and I'm actually doing it now and being consistent with it. And I just love seeing like the process of a video coming to life and just from where it starts in the raw format to like editing it and seeing it all come together cohesive in this teaching that just feels really good to listen to. And I was also in video production in high school and I loved it. Like I would go to school early just to like edit stuff and see it feels very artistic for me.
Okay, so we went back to 10 to 12. If we had to go further into the future, say if you had to look at yourself 3 to 5 years from now, like what would have to happen for you to be happy with your progress?
So, yeah, 3 to 5 years from now, I feel like I will be probably getting ready to put more energy towards motherhood, whether it's already having a child or getting ready to have a child. I'd be like 35, right? So, a lot of what I would like to see during that time is having a business that feeds my lifestyle as a mother, one that I can still pour my creation and my passion into, but doesn't take up a lot of time because I'm going to have to take up a lot of time to raise a baby. Yeah, just creating generational wealth in some ways. My partner is really focused on doing that right now too. Like he has his mind on that, feeling like We have wealth that's coming in. I feel like I've cultivated a lot of inner wealth in my life. Like I feel really, really good from within. I've had to like peel back so many layers of like what I thought happiness was and actually come home to what happiness is for me. And so I have a lot of inner wealth and I would love to see my outer reality also match that so that I'm living a life that, feels really, really calm and peaceful, but also still serving the world and bringing value into the world.
I'm glad you're enjoying the podcast. Before we continue, I have a gift for you. Since 2016, I have read and listened to over 900 books so far. It's going to be 1,000. And I organized them into a library and I handpicked the top 100 books I recommend to my clients, my friends, and the people in my community. Books on storytelling, language, and personal growth, and building something from your own life. If you're watching this podcast and you're looking for your next great read, this library is your gift. It is free. Go to asheralbertwright.com and check out the 1000 book challenge. This is my gift to you. Now back to the conversation. Well, let's jump into the maxims. So we're gonna play the maxim game. So what I have is a couple of maxims I put together that I would love to read them to you, and then once you hear them, then I want to love to know what story pops in your head when you hear those maxims. So the
A
first
personal
one,
story?
your personal story, whatever story pops in your head, whatever comes to mind, that's what the universe got plans for you. So let's share those.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So the first one is the armor around your heart kept the world out and kept you out too. On the inversion side of it, drop the armor and the heart that felt so much finally gets felt by someone else. What comes to mind for you when you hear those words?
Relationships. And when my heart was armored, which just meant it felt like it was closed because I was never taught how to open it properly. My heart felt like it was pushing people away in a way. It was very energetic. It wasn't something that was like conscious for me. But it also it kept me attracting relationships, romantic relationships and platonic relationships in which I didn't feel seen or heard or loved in the ways that I wanted to. And each one of those relationships that I had, whether it was with friends or with partners that ended up having a fallout, I feel like each one of those allowed me to come home deeper to myself because once I started to learn about life being a mirror and relationships being a mirror to you, that's when things started to change for me. That literally like changed my life when I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, if I feel not seen in this relationship, where am I not seeing myself? And if I don't feel loved at my depths in this relationship, where am I not loving myself at my depths?" And each one of those relationships allowed me to go deeper and ask myself those questions. And that started to open my heart more and more and more and de-armor my heart and realize that love was never about getting it from somebody else. Love is something that I am. Love is what my heart already has in it. And so I don't need to reach for others to give me that love. And the more that I open my heart and the more that I love myself, the more that then I attract people who also match that level of love. And then it's a win win because it's like, I don't need that love, but I'm receiving that love because I'm already giving it to myself. And that started to open up my heart more and more and more. And, when it comes to romantic relationships and platonic relationships, I feel like right now, especially my romantic relationship, is a testament to that work that I've done to de armor my heart because I have a man who really, really loves me at my depths and really sees me and doesn't run from the relationship when things get hard. And he's a match to the love that I've been able to cultivate within myself. And then with community and friendships, it's something that I'm opening my heart up to more and more as I live in a beautiful community here in Costa Rica. And I'm starting to, yeah, get a lot of reflections of people that love themselves and are devoted to the path of growth and are devoted to conscious eating and raising their children in a conscious way. And yeah, just really devoted human beings who see life from the same lens that I do. And it's just really cool to see what happens when you're like, oh, wait, life is mirroring this to me. What do I need to love myself? And I love myself and life starts to mirror that back too.
I don't know if you're a dancer or not, but sometimes I notice people. You got people that are hand talkers,
Yeah.
that are head talkers, and sometimes you got people that are both, but they're very animated and just get in the rhythm, and it just you know. I'm not sure. Are you a dancer?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. I'm not a professional dancer, but dancing is my medicine. Like dancing has helped me travel from my head down to my heart and like
Mhm.
experience. Yeah, I'm getting chills even just talking about it right now. I've been able to just open my body up to so much aliveness through dancing. So I love that you say that because yeah, my expression used to be like way more heady and like yelling at people, and now it's like I'm like dancing. Every moment is a dance. So I love that you see that. That's awesome.
Well, the thing that light us up is the thing that we should focus on doing more of. You seems like you're artistic, so let's get into this next maxim here. You kept redesigning the cover so readers would stay outside it. You stayed outside it longest of all. An inversion. Open the book anyway, and the story inside turns out worth reading. And that was, I do the writing stuff, so I like to write. And he said you like to speak, which is interesting because it's the same thing with the technology we have today. You can, instead of writing, you can speak to your tools, right? Speak your tools. But when you think about your story being a book, different chapters in your life, when you think about that maxim just now, what comes to mind for you?
When I think of cover, I think of like what other people see. And yeah, what comes through is like I had to in a in my previous years felt like I had to wear this mask and like perfect what people saw on the outside because that's how I thought people would see me. That's how I thought people would like value and cherish me. And it kept me outside of my own book too because I was just thinking about the external world all the time. I wasn't looking deeper into opening myself up and seeing what's within, like what are the stories within, what are the yeah, like what's actually inside of the book. And so that's what it feels like. I'm a very visual person, so I feel like I'm seeing myself like outside of myself, trying to fix and perfect this cover so that people would like open and see me. And it was like I had to let go of needing to perfect the cover and just like go into the book and like rewrite all my stories and connect to who I really am and express myself for who I really am. And then from that place, like my outer shell, my outer cover started to change, which is actually really funny because it did. Like I don't look the same at all from when I was like trying so hard to like meet these beauty standards and hair and makeup and all these things that were not coming from a intentional place. It was coming from like I want people to validate and love me and see me. And when I started giving myself my own love, I pretty much what happened was I opened the book and I started to create my own love story. There we go, with myself. And as I started to do that, then like the energy of the book was just so magnetic that more people wanted to be part of it.
Wow.
And my
This
outer shell changed into this beautiful, like, yeah, expression of who I really am, not who I think I need to be. That's what comes through.
there's a guy I love. His name is Sadhguru. I think
Yeah.
it's well. Yeah. So it's funny sometimes he talks about, like, have we read the user's manual for our life or for us, for ourselves?
Mm.
And when you mention it, you talk about the cover, right? The cover is what you see, but the value is inside of the pages. So then when you say you went inside, it's like I gotta work on my internal space. So that means so the cover has more meaning. Because if
Oof.
the cover don't have a lot of meaning, if the words in there doesn't have any statue, any value. So when people start doing the work on the pages, that's when what the cover says makes sense. So when Sadhguru is like, you read the user's manual. So what would be the user's manual that you've discovered so far for Joanna Sanchez being?
I love that. I feel like the user's manual is just doing things that bring me joy and aliveness. Like that's what keeps my being alive, right? Is like dancing, getting into singing more, just expression. Like my user's manual has a lot of expression in it, whether it's like expressing the high vibrational joy and bliss and like happiness that I'm experiencing, or whether it's the crunchy really dark, dense emotions that I'm processing in my life. Like, I give myself permission to express all of who I am. And I feel like that also has created range in who I am and depth in who I am and expression. Like feminine range is really powerful and women have been so suppressed from their range. And so we've been boxed in to think that we need to be one thing and it's not true. Like we're cyclical beings, we're changing, I'm changing. So that's like my user's manual. It's like I'm a cyclical being. Like I'm going through 4 seasons in 1 month with my body. My hormones are literally completely reversed half the month, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, my user's manual is like honoring my cyclical nature, honoring my expression of the high and the fun and the joy, and then also honoring the expression of my rage and my anger and like in a healthy, sacred way, not in a way where I'm projecting it onto others or like causing harm in the world, but like creating that's a big one for me is creating sacred space, and what I mean by that is just, like, intentional safe space to be with myself, to process and move through whatever is present for me. So that's a big part of my manual. It's, like, more, like, safe spaces, which is why I love also creating safe spaces for women to unleash, to cry, to heal, to yeah, to release the suppressed emotions that they never felt safe to express. So, expression. If we had to tie it into one word.
Expression. Okay, let's stay on expression here. And I think expression comes from there's a saying that says, your life could be 7 miles wide and 7 inch deep, or 7 inch deep, 7 miles, 7 miles deep, 7 inch wide, right?
Yeah.
And the people that focus maybe on the cover, they stick to 7 miles wide. They're very horizontal, and the folks that goes into the pages are the vertical, meaning that they go deep, 7 miles deep. So when you think about your life and feeling that, hey, I'm in a stage where I'm going vertical, I'm going depth, right? I need to understand my range, also my depth. But where are you focusing on 7 miles deep?
Just deeper intimacy with myself and with my partner, like relationship wise. What I
Relationship.
mean by yeah, what I mean by that is just like seeing myself deeper and allowing my partner to see me deeper and also seeing my partner deeper. Then beyond, we're redefining what love has been for both of us. We both come from chaotic childhoods, divorced parents, a lot of anger in the household, a lot of like, yeah, that paired up with like fantasy that we've been taught since we were children of like what love is and reality TV shows and movies. Like, I believe there's just so much distortion about what love actually is. And so I feel like the depths that I'm going into right now is like healing a lot of my childhood trauma that has kept me, like, even more protected from letting myself be seen at the depths that I wanna be seen in my partnership, and also healing a lot of, like, what the ways my mom, for instance, related to my father that are living in me, because when you're a child, like, that's what you see, you pick up on the behaviors of your parents, so, like, the way my mom loved my dad unconsciously is the way that sometimes I see myself loving my partner, and it's in illusion it's in distorted ways that don't feel true to who I am at my core, and so I'm witnessing that in the ways that I show up in the relationship myself, and he's also witnessing ways that he shows up into the relationship that are also not in congruence with our core self, and so the depths that I'm reaching into my body right now, into my being are definitely relational depths, yeah.
Mm. You're speaking wisdom, Joanna. And
Thank you.
and it's interesting because I don't think we spend a lot of time looking back and studying our history. Because there's a saying that you want to understand the daughter, study their mother. You want to understand the
Yep.
son, study their father. You
Yep.
want to understand the person, study their teachers, right? Because the teachers taught them what they are practicing and doing right now. So when you don't go back and study the teachers of the people you're engaged with and get a relationship with, you'd be surprised. Like, wait a minute, they're gonna do a lot of the same thing if they have them go in there and reverse engineer what they supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Like go in there and recognize their users manual. Like, wait a minute, my users manuals is a copy of my mom and dad users manual and their grandparents. So I'm still using that users manual. What is mine? Right? So now that you're doing the
So
work,
good.
yeah, now that you're doing the work, I'm respecting that because it takes a lot of work to go back and start writing your story the way it's supposed to be written for you versus
For you.
copying the previous user's manual. What pops in your head?
Wow, I'm just like, yeah, I have chills all over my body because I'm like, yeah, that's so good. Just the way you just tied that up with like the user's manual. It's so true. We're so programmable as kids and our parents are our role models, and we want to be everything that they are. They're like our first heroes as children. We're like, yeah, like I want to be just like you. Like you're my mom, you're my dad. And then, if mom and dad didn't do the work to move through trauma, then what you're picking up on as a user's manual is coping mechanisms that they've created unconsciously to relate to the world and each other and themselves that then are not powerful for you, don't feel good, that create more chaos, that create more stress, that create more trauma. And so I think it just takes like a very brave person to be able to see that and be like, that doesn't feel like it's the way I want to live. And because it doesn't feel like it's the way I want to live, I'm going to give this user manual back to mom and dad. Thank you for giving me life. I love you. And I get to take this life that you gave me and create my own destiny. I don't need to be attached to your destiny anymore. And that's where I believe that we become whole and sovereign. Like mom and dad have their own sovereign experience, and I can go have my own experience. And I don't have to, like, yeah, this is a lot of the work that I do with my students too. It's like, I don't have to belong to my family system from a place of suffering or trauma or the things that are creating harm in my system or closing my heart. I get to belong through what true love means, which is me choosing my own path, loving myself at the deepest level, so then I can share that love and connection. I don't need to continue to bond or belong through the suffering that they've experienced in their life because they didn't have the tools.
Powerful. Here was another maxim. Let me get your thoughts on this one. So she built a life that worked on paper and burned out the woman living it. Inversion, build a life around what works for other people and you disappear from the one that was supposed to be yours.
So good.
What story pops in your head from that?
I mean, I think about a lot of the women that I work with. That's like what I help them decondition is a lot of that, of building the life that they thought they needed to live to only realize that they're not fulfilled from within. But the only reason why I was able to do that to support my people, my clients and students is because I had to also do that. Like back when I was fitness coaching, I was a fitness coach for 7 years and I really did love it. And I got to a point where I was doing the deeper work and I was like connecting more to, yeah, everything we're talking about, the inner work. And the fitness stuff started to feel a little bit more surface level for me because I started to realize that a lot of what women are truly needing is beyond just their physical bodies. In order for their physical bodies to be healthy, they have to heal a lot of the trauma and the burnout and like just the false living, like living from the head, pretty much, right? Living from conditioning. As I started to, I had this perfect business. I was making a lot of money. I had a team. I had it all figured out. And I just woke up one day and I was like, I literally created the business and career that I wanted, that I thought was what I wanted, and then realized it was not. It was definitely not. Like I wanted depth. Like I'm a deep woman. And so I was starting to discover those depths within myself. And I wanted women to understand that, like, oh my gosh, girl, like, yeah, you want to lose weight, but what you want is how losing weight is going to make you feel. And so if we can get to the feeling of that first and you can feel good and fulfilled from within, your body is going to drop the weight because it's going to feel safe to do that. And so that started to kind of change things for me. And what I find also is that, like, in my path, I don't stay in something that doesn't feel good for too long. Like, I just never been that person. Never. And so as soon as I felt that, I was like, all right, I'm burning it all down. We're restarting. And I like let go of my fitness business. I didn't even try to like build a system and sell it and do like the, logical thing. I was like, we're burning it down and I'm rebuilding. And that's when I started to shift more into embodiment and somatic healing for women. Then I started to build a life that truly felt good for the that matched the depth that I felt within myself. I started to help women activate that depth within themselves or like journey into that depth within themselves. And that started to feel really, really good for me. Another thing that comes to mind was when I was bodybuilding. Like I was a bodybuilder I was training for a while, but I actually competed for 2 years, and what comes to mind with that is that, I got on stage and I busted my booty to get there, and I looked incredible, like, incredible, and shredded and skinny, and, after the shows, after I was done competing, I was like, "Wow, I have, like, the skinny body I was after, but my hormones are wrecked, my mental health is wrecked, I don't even know who I am, I have so much anxiety, I have no friends anymore because I, like, completely isolated myself to, like, meet this goal." So that's another one of, like, my stories that reminds me of. 2 there for you.
Yeah, you said the term fast living.
Yeah. I saw
That's a
you write
great.
that down. I was like, "He
That's a
likes that."
yeah. That's a great title, fast living. Cause it is. Why it's false? Because it doesn't favor you. It favors the public. It favors everybody else that likes to say beautiful image, but like beauty is gonna betray you, just like the other things that age with time betrays you. Because yeah, you think all this. No, the depth is what stays with you. The
Mhm.
surface changes. So if you
So
could
good.
find a way to keep the depth, invest in the depth, that won't betray you. But beauty will. My handsomeness, my things on the surface, it's gonna change. What
Yeah,
happens when it do?
yeah.
And that's the person you gotta invest in.
100%.
Let's jump into another one. People have called you beautiful for years. This is like, people have called you beautiful for years. You could not hear it through the story you were already telling yourself, in versions of that. Change the story first, and the compliments you couldn't hear before finally land. What story
Mm.
pops to mind for you?
What pops up for me is when I started to learn how to receive more. So, that journey for me was I was following this guy on Instagram, and he was talking about feminine and masculine energy, and I was like, "What the heck is feminine and masculine energy?" And then I was, like, really invested in it, just binging his podcast, like, "Oh my gosh," like, I didn't know I was living in my masculine. I have no connection to my feminine energy. So for anyone listening, like masculine energy is more of like structure and containment and um direction, purpose, and feminine energy is more of like flow and surrender and softness, and those are some of the qualities. And yeah, when I started to listen to more of his stuff, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I have no connection to my feminine." And part of the feminine is receptivity, like being receptive to life, to things. And I was the type of person that would always just like push away compliments. You're gonna find this really funny. Like people would be like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you look so whatever." And I'd be like, "No, girl, that's you." Right? Like that's like the typical thing that happens in our society. Women are like, "No, no, no, girl, it's you. Like you're amazing." And as I started to learn more about receptivity, I was like, I want to open up and receive more. That's going to activate more of my feminine and who I am. Like, yeah, let me open up and receive more. And so I did this little thing with myself during that time where people would like say nice things to me, and I would be like, "Oh, thank you so much. I received that." Like when people would compliment me. So I went from being somebody that was like really like, "Oh no, girl, like what about look at you? Like look at your hair." You're like if they complimented my hair and whatever, to being somebody who was like, "Thank you. I really received that." And just like saying that. And sometimes people would be like, "That's a little weird." And be like, "Well, I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for me." So now it's something that I teach people too. It's like, that's magnetic. That's like, think about the energy that, you're sharing in that moment. You're sharing gratitude. So you're going from like pushing it and like keeping it away because you're uncomfortable receiving to like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. Thank you for seeing me. Like, thank you. It's a different
That, that,
energy.
that is actually a simple reprogramming move.
Yeah. Right.
But if you say it's for me, why I'm doing this? Because my brain, its automation run this way. To change the automation, I gotta reprogram it. And
A
I'm doing
hundred
this
percent.
because I gotta reprogram my automation. And that's a good move. That's a good move.
And for people that might think that's weird, I think just saying thank you, I appreciate that is, a really great way to do that, to
Mm.
receive.
This episode is sponsored by Life Changing Wisdom Marketplace, the home for authors who own their stories and their business. Your book, your merch, your audience. One storefront, you keep 80%, you own your customer list. You build a relationship, real relationship with the readers. If that sounds like the way you want to run your business, visit lifechangingwisdom.com. Okay, next one here. She stopped trying to look like she was okay and started learning what okay felt like. The inversion, keep performing okay long enough and you forgot to check whether you are. What story comes to mind for you?
Feel like what's coming up is a lot of the imposter syndrome that I felt when I was a fitness coach because I was dealing with a lot of health issues myself because I wasn't doing the deeper work. Hormonal issues, like binge eating issues, over exercising, just stress, overworking, burning out. And so back then there was this image of like, I would go to the gym and be like, okay, I have to make sure I'm like perfect with every move that I make because I'm a coach and everyone here knows me. And I need to make sure that like everybody knows that I know what I'm doing, even if I didn't know maybe like an exercise or something. I was like, but I need to like be perfect and everybody needs to know that I'm good. When in reality, deep down inside, I just wasn't really confident. I felt like an imposter because I just couldn't understand like why is it that I'm like trying everything and I'm still having these like eating disordered eating type of behavior, and why can't I commit to like a diet? Why can't I commit to the things that I say I'm going to do to change my body? Like what's wrong with me? And then I'm over here coaching all these people to do it and my clients are seeing amazing results and I'm like, why are my clients seeing better results than I am? Like what is wrong with me? Like there's something here. But, people couldn't really like my clients didn't know that. I was like, I'm okay, everything's fine. And so yeah, once again, once I started doing the inner work and I started to allow myself to be vulnerable with myself and to look at all the parts that maybe were not okay and actually accept them and express them and give them space to be seen by me, then that's when things started to shift and I stopped performing so much. And that's also why I left fitness was because, there was a lot of women that were feeling like me that why do I still have these disordered eating issues? Why do I have like why can't I commit to my exercise? What's wrong with me? I'm doing everything. Like why is it not working? And it's because they're not looking within. When you look within and you let yourself not be okay and drop the mask of performing okay, then I think that that's when not I think I know that's when you start going down the path of actually being okay. It's like you have to let yourself accept that you're not okay and move through that not okayness to then like start to feel what okay feels like in your system.
Kindness. It's a theme that we are focusing on. And I'm gonna tap into another framework here, but I wanna tell me about kindness. Kindness. When you think about that word, what is your personal definition?
Kindness is the act of expressing love to oneself or other. That's what comes up. And the word vulnerability comes up with it too.
Tell me about that. Say more.
Like vulnerability with oneself is your ability to not be okay and to honor and accept all the parts of you, even the ones that feel like you can't accept or the ones that feel a little darker or that feel a little more negative. Vulnerability is like letting yourself see those parts of yourself while also letting yourself be seen in the imperfection of being a human because we're not perfect and we will all go through stages in our life that will be more challenging than others. And so vulnerability, I feel like, is your ability to show up as that in every moment in relationship with yourself and relationship with other. Like something that comes to mind for me is sometimes the other day somebody was at the gym, one of my friends, and she's like, "How are you, girl?" And I was like, "I'm angry today, girl." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being so honest and vulnerable." Because our society is used to us being like, "I'm good, how are you?" And it's like, I'm actually not good. And that's okay. Like, I don't have to pretend to be good right now. I'm processing emotion. I'm gonna be good in like, I don't know, a day. Like, I know how to process this to be good again. But right now in this moment, I'm in it and I'm not doing so good. So I feel like that's an act of kindness also because you're not lying. You're being honest about your experience because you're being honest with yourself. And then you let other people into what's actually going on. You're not just pushing like a false image onto people. And I think that's the most kind act we can do is to just be ourselves with others and ourselves.
We sometimes realize that kindness builds confidence. And when you mentioned vulnerability just now, vulnerability is a confidence. And I think, Dan Sullivan has a framework. It's called it the 4 C's, which is kind of start with confidence, then it's courage, then it's capability, then it's confidence, right? So you get confidence, but to get there, you got to start commitment.
Mm.
So then to travel the journey of commitment, I mean, I commit to something, I run into an obstacle. It takes courage to overcome the obstacle, right? When I overcome the obstacle, it gives me capabilities. With that capability, it gives me confidence. But then we go back to the first C, and I want to ask you what your relationship with commitment, or committing to things, either people, places, or thing, whatever that is. What is your relationship with commitment?
So good. Well, when I think of commitment, for me, a word that I really love is devotion. Because commitment is like to me, it's like when I'm committing to something, I'm devoting myself to that, right? Because I value that, whatever that is. I value this relationship. I value this friendship. I value having strong muscles at the gym. I value being the best version of myself, right? So because I value these things, I'm committed to going to the gym and working out. I'm committed to doing the deep work with my partner, even when things get scary. I'm committed to seeing the depths of myself. And when a part of myself that I don't like is coming out and like witnessing it and moving past it so I can come back to wholeness. Like that's what comes through for me is devotion. And devotion is like, oh, well, what comes through too is I was having a conversation with somebody. They were like, when I was sharing about devotion and like discipline, because I feel like discipline, commitment, and devotion are kind of in the same boat. And somebody was like, "Yeah, discipline means being the disciple of something." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, and to be the disciple of whatever it is you're doing, you have to be devoted to that. You have to like see it as something for me sacred, something really, really important. That helps me with the depth part of it because if I'm like, I'm just committed, to me that like feels like, okay, but why? Like why do you want to be committed to this thing? Like why do you want to have strong, sexy muscles? And it's like, well, I really value feeling so good in my body. Like I really value the sturdiness of my body, the strength. I value looking at myself in the mirror and loving what I see. I value like putting on a bikini and just like looking so good, not for anybody else, but for myself. Like I used to care so much about, and I'm like, I don't care about what people, I just love feeling good in my body. I value that. So I'm committed. I'm a disciple of it. I'm devoted to that. That's an example of it.
So good, so good. She is wise. She is wise. Okay, here's one more. Here's one more. There was a feeling you called the truth for years before you found out it wasn't. On the inversion side, you keep calling each feeling the truth, and the real one gets lost in the crowd.
I mean, this is a little like intense. So I feel vulnerable sharing it. Yeah, it just brings me back to like when I was trying to understand what spirituality meant for me, like what connection to God meant for me. I don't know why this is coming up, so we're just gonna roll with it. But it just felt like I was listening to everybody else's truth around what God meant and was like splitting into so many different directions of like following this crowd and following that crowd and following this crowd because I was trying to like feel what like truth actually meant in my system for me with connection to God. And it wasn't until I just got really like I silenced the noise of the external world and started to really understand and then like connect with what source and God and universe means to me. And yeah, it's almost like all the feelings that I had towards what other people were saying God was distorting what was actually true for my own unique connection to God. That was what was coming through.
And since you're going deep, let me share too, because I like this. I like this framework. For my own experience and learning, I understand a few things, right? Truth cannot be explained.
Mhm.
So when I say truth cannot be explained, that means, so if the moon is truth and you have never seen the moon, and I try to explain the moon to you, I would have to use a reference so you can get what the moon look like. But the reference is not the moon. So therefore the reference is not true. So in
Mm.
everything that we do, we trying to explain the truth using a reference. For example, I say the moon is like a golf ball. No, we're talking about golf ball. That's not the moon. Therefore, golf ball is not truth of the moon. It's just a reference.
A
So then when I
reference.
say you only way to experience truth is to experience it yourself. You cannot explain it to somebody else.
So
And when
good.
somebody says, this is God. I'm like, God cannot be explained. He can only be experienced. So when somebody says, I believe in God, that's great. You believe in God, but do you know God? And your
Yes.
knowing of God is personal to only you. And when you experience it, you're like, there's another saying that says, those who know don't speak, and those who speak don't know.
Yeah.
Meaning that once you understand what truth is, don't need to explain it because somebody got to experience it for themselves. When they experience it, they know what it is.
100%. So
So
good.
that's popped up for me.
I
Any other
really love
thoughts?
that. No, yeah, I mean, I'm like, yes, yes, so good. That was such a good reference. Yeah, because it felt like that, like people were trying to reference what it was, but I was like, I want to know what it is myself. And that's what happened. I experienced it myself. And now I know. And now I don't have to try to convince other people to be like, hey, this is what it needs to be for you. It's like, this is what it is for me. This is where I
Hmm.
found it, right? This is where I found that love.
Perfect. All right. Here's another one. You treated yourself like a project because project can be fixed. People have to be felt. An
Mm,
inversion. Keep managing yourself like a project, and the part that needed feeling stays unmanaged. Anything pops in
mm.
your head from hearing that?
Yeah, that was like what I was sharing with you earlier about my fitness journey and feeling like I was always just trying to like do the next diet and do the next exercise routine and this much cardio and hire this coach. And it just felt like I was like trying to do all these things and I wasn't feeling beneath all of that what was actually there, like what I needed to feel in order to come alive into who I am. Yeah, so it just felt like I felt like I was a project, like my body was a project that needed to be fixed, and when I let that go and just started to actually connect with my body and accept and love my body, that's when I actually became the healthiest, most vibrant, radiant version of myself without having to do anything that felt like I was, like, overdoing it or harming myself or burning out because the natural desire to take care of my body came the more that I loved myself. And so before it was like, I hate myself, so I have to work out to look better. And that shifted into, I love myself and I work out because it's an act of love and devotion towards this vessel and my strength and my body. Like this vessel is the vessel to my soul. Like I want to treat it right. I want to love it. I don't hate this thing anymore. I don't need to fix it. I just need to give it love. That's what
Mm.
comes up.
Then my follow-up question would be, because you were I think you were hiding behind your body.
Yes.
So then what was beneath behind the body that you was trying to fix deeply?
It was, yeah, self-worth. Like I felt that if I finally got my body to a good place, I would be good enough to be loved, especially by men back then. It was like all about like wanting to be chosen, wanting to be loved, wanting to be validated, because I didn't feel good enough. So that's what it was. I didn't feel good enough. And then doing the work has helped me realize what my self-worth is, and I think it's always gonna be an ongoing journey for us to, like, come home to more and more of our worthiness. I feel like there's still layers. I mean, there's so many layers to everything, but I feel like there's even layers of worth that you continue to move into and feel, and I feel like that's a lot of what my journey has been too. It's just self-acceptance, self-worth, self-love.
Okay, so then my next question will be, then what is your new origin story, right? And we talk about origin story is, like for Batman, it was, parents got killed. For Spider-Man, he got bitten by spiders, no, he got superpower. So if you can fit down and think about what is the new origin story right now that you're framing that is powering Joanna Sanchez into the future right now.
For me, it's two-parted, it's two-sided. There's the catalyst of my partner and I choosing to devote ourselves to love deeper, and I feel like that it's been tough, it's been challenging, really challenging to witness just, like, all the old ways of operating that we thought relationships were meant to be and, like, actually being like, "Well, what relationship do we actually want?" So I feel like that is catalyzing a lot for what, my future household will be and, praying that our future children might be and just creating that era of our lives. And then the other one is just business-wise, leadership-wise. I feel like I am in this stage where I know that what I do is so powerful and like transformational. And I'm in this place where I'm like, how can I even translate what I do anymore? Because it's so deep and so powerful. And like, even women with testimonials are like, you have to experience it in order to understand it. I have no words to describe like how incredibly powerful this work is. And so I'm kind of in this like really uncomfortable stage that I feel like is catalyzing me to get really clear, maybe with like my messaging and like who I want to serve and how I want to serve them. And all of that, because I've been kind of like a little bit, I mean, I've been showing up on social media and stuff and I've been out there, but I feel like the depth of my work has been more behind the scenes and it's not translating properly in the ways that I wanted to. So I'm kind of in this place of asking deeper questions of like, how do I translate this? How do I like put the depth of what I'm doing out there for people to understand it? Like, like it's not so much about me anymore. Like, how can I put it in the language that people understand and feel compelled to want to go deeper within themselves, you know? But then also, like, moving past this, like, feeling of, like, "Do I have to do that?" So
Mm.
I'm just in the unknown right now, and I feel like the unknown is catalyzing me to be able to receive more clarity about what's next and how I show up and how I serve in my leadership.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you back to the experience of Asher as well, because I think we go through this phase. I mean, there's no escaping it because we wasn't born with the skills of storytelling.
Mhm.
It's something that we gotta learn. And sometimes you say, "I want to speak. I want to be a public speaker." But then most of your life you've been speaking, so you're a public speaker.
Mhm.
But what I learned, because I'm also in Toastmasters, I've been in Toastmasters for like 4 years. But one thing I learned is we're horrible storyteller, but we're great speakers. It's not the same thing. So then you gotta learn what is storytelling, and storytelling is a skill of taking people back or taking people forward. But what happened is what we do a lot is we switch over into teaching mode because we spend our whole life in school getting taught.
Yeah.
So we feel like storytelling is teaching and it's not. And I learned, I was like, man, when you switch into teaching mode, people are like, I'm not listening because I haven't picked you as my teacher. But if you're a great storyteller, I would sit down on the fireside. I'm gonna listen to you tell me about. Let me take you back in time. I sure imagine this was happening. This was a situation where I'm in it with you. But it's a skill we all have to learn, and we suffer from it when we try to switch to teaching. Because people are like, I'm not actually teaching me anything. I just want to enjoy the story. Because teaching need permission, story don't. People will voluntarily listen to a story, but you're trying to teach them because teaching requires you giving me homework. And nobody's want to sign up for homework. Story requires no homework. It just requires me participating imaginarily through my imagination, so to speak. So I learned that I was like, oh, I gotta get better at this. Like I can speak. Sometimes I don't like the way my voice. So when I first started, like I'm listening to myself, like, oh, Asher, that's how you sound, Asher. Wait a minute. But then it's my voice. I can speak. I might stumble over a few words because I might have my lisp or different ways, right? But storytelling is master skill. So
Yeah.
how do we get into it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like a lot of what I've been doing here right now is like storytelling with you about my
Okay.
experiences and what I've gone through and like all of that. And what comes up for me is just like, yeah, like there's so much around like marketing and what is marketing and how do you speak to the person that you're wanting to speak to. And I think I shared this with you before where I've heard like the side of like storytelling is the way, or like, no, you need to like bring up the problem and give them a solution. But then I've heard like, yeah, you do that through your hero's story and show them that you've walked the path that they're walking. And it's just like so much noise. So I'm like, ah.
But it's the interesting thing that we see it on TV all day, especially the great movies. If you notice how movie play out, right? And
Yeah.
I watched, since you say you was into visual editing, video editing, and I'm like, so I'm learning. I'm like, wait a minute, what do movies do? They start you in motion, right? They put you in the scene. Most movies, you pay attention. It's the scene starts motion, action, doing something, because they want to get you in there,
Yeah.
and then once they get you, to slow you down and bring you back to the storyline. So then same thing when I'm telling story, take you back in time in motion, because most people can go back or they can go forward, but to plan them in the present, it's very difficult for people to stand in the present
Yeah.
because that's a difficult for all of us. Then take you back and take you forward is easy. I could sell you on your future or I could introduce you to my past. You'll be
Hmm.
interested in both.
That's really good.
Let's jump into another one. Alrighty. So this one says the valley taught you more than the mountain ever did. On the flip side, skip the valley and you reach the next mountain without knowing why the first one wasn't enough.
Mm.
What story pops in your head for that one?
What was coming up for me is like relationships as like in my previous relationship before this one, I was single for like 6 years and then I really, 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 really wanted a boyfriend. And so I met this guy. He ends up being my partner for 3.5 years. He was an awesome, amazing man. And I feel like I don't really have regrets, but what's coming through is like I feel like I wasn't more in my power or like more discerning. That's the word. I wasn't discerning about what I was getting myself into because I was just so hungry for a boyfriend. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna skip the valley of going deep within myself and being like, why do I want a boyfriend so much? Why do I feel this like impulse towards this guy? Like, let me go deeper and ask myself these questions before I make a decision to spend a lot of my time with this person. Like, can I be more discerning? So I skipped the valley of learning discernment and I just jumped into being like, yeah, I'm gonna have a boyfriend and it's gonna be great. And then I learned my lesson after that and I was like, yeah, no, we need better boundaries. We need to be more discerning about what kind of relationship we want. But then, like I said, I don't regret it because that relationship taught me that. It taught me to have better discernment, more boundaries, like what kind of man do I actually feel more attracted to and in love with? Like, how do I want to be loved? So, yeah. Then after that mountain, I was like, okay, now we're going down in the valley and getting clear.
We sometimes want to skip the valley because the valley it's gonna teach you something.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a Winston Churchill quote that I love. It says, "I'm always ready to learn, although I don't always like being taught." And the valley is a place that you're gonna get taught, but sometimes we don't want to. I'm not ready to learn that because learning requires effort.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we want to skip that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we are getting to wrap up now. I might have a few closing questions for you,
Okay.
and let's jump into them real quick. First one is a TV show or film you have found yourself returning to lately.
That's funny because I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV at all. But a film that I really, really love that I watched recently a while ago is Avatar. I love Avatar so much. I love the depth. I love just the creation of it. Like that is art right there. So Avatar, like I think there's 3 of them. So good.
Mm. Next one. 3 books you'd recommend to a friend right now. Mhm.
Where is this friend at? Is she like has she been doing the work? Is she just starting on the work? Like
I don't know. Pick your ideal friend that you recommend 3 books.
okay. I would say the book You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. I love that book a lot. That book changed my life. Well, I'm reading one called Healing Relational Trauma right now. Very on brand with what's going on in my life. So I feel like I would definitely recommend that for anyone because we all dealt with relational trauma as children. So I would recommend that to my friend. And then, okay, what other books have I read? There's this really sensual book called Dear Lover by David Data. So I would definitely recommend that to my girlfriend. It's really like sensual and like talks about men and intimacy and all the yummy stuff. So I would recommend that.
A product or tool you've been using that has been a game changer.
Oh my gosh. So I have a friend here that I met in Costa Rica. Her name is Ashley Black, and I wish I had it here next to me, but she has this device that's called a fascia blaster. And well, it's called Nexia, but it helps with fascia. So fascia is a connective tissue in your body, and there's a lot of studies coming out right now on how fascia stores memories and emotions and trauma. And so I've been using that device like every day on my legs and like just like going in on my legs because my legs felt so numb for so long. And, a lot of like bodybuilding. I ran a lot during that time. I was like doing so much volume in the gym with my legs. The biggest thing for me was like my legs are too big. They need to shrink because I was doing bikini bodybuilding and you had to be like really small. And so I feel like I just like ran my legs down so hard and like all my tissue in there is dehydrated and contracted. And so I've been using the fascia blaster and it's been life changing. Like I feel so much more energy moving through my body. It's great. So if anybody asks you about that, I have a code.
Okay, all right. We're gonna
It's
get that.
amazing.
A community you have been finding real value in.
Oh my gosh, the community here in Costa Rica. I mean, there's an ecstatic dance every Sunday. An ecstatic dance is like a dance where, you know, you just go and dance however you want. There's no like structure, there's nothing like if you're feeling emotional, you can be emotional. If you're feeling excited and joyful, you can be excited and joyful. But it's one of the main reasons why I moved here because I love to dance, like I said. And it's like a 2 hour dance in the jungle with different DJs every week. It's like a sober party. And
So
early more sober party at 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. every Sunday. It's like our Sunday church. It's amazing. And so I love that. I'm finding so much in this community because like everyone is just so authentic. Like people here are like really devoted to the path of authenticity. We all have our stuff, but there's a lot of authentic human beings here choosing differently for their lives, and I feel like it's valuable to be around those type of people for sure. Like I feel like they're a match to me.
all right, last question. And this one is your Mount Rushmore, the 3 to 5 people who have been the most influential in your life, and they cannot be family members.
These are gonna be fun, but the first one I would say was my ex, who I dated from 15 till like 22. We were together for a while, like it was insane. But that man, fun fact, I went to school to be a doctor. I was doing pre-med and then I found fitness. My ex was a bodybuilder. That's how I got into bodybuilding. But I found fitness, became a personal trainer off the whim. Like I just came into the gym and the manager was like, "Hey, do you want to be a personal trainer?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And so I became a personal trainer, fell in love with it, and I was in school to be a doctor because that's how I thought I was gonna make money. And my ex at the time was like, because I was freaking out. I was like, I don't wanna do school for like I don't wanna do pre-med right now. I'm like hating my life. I hate these classes. I really love personal training. I can change my major, but that's not gonna make me any money. And he just asked me a very important question during that time. He's like, do you wanna live a life where you feel passionate about what you're doing and actually loving it every day? And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Then the money will come." And that day I like switched my major and went from pre-med to exercise sciences and loved it. So that ex was very monumental in my life. And then my last ex also, because of everything that I shared, I just feel like, yeah, I'm so grateful for him and how much we grew in that relationship and how much I got to learn how to see myself post that relationship. So he'll always have a special place in my heart. And then my current partner, I feel like he's such a devoted, loving, mushy hearted man. And I've never experienced such a lover man in my life. And I'm so grateful for that because that's everything that I was calling in. And so his love has really changed a lot of my life in the most beautiful ways. And two more, my friend Christina, she is just an incredible human being, super devoted woman to the path of growth and transformation. And yeah, anytime that we're in each other's energies, we just like vibe so high and have the craziest like insights. So really grateful for her. And then lastly, my bestie Shanice, who, oh my gosh, we've done so much life together. We were party animals together back in the day, lived with each other, roommates. I was coaching her in bodybuilding. We were doing business together. We had a fitness business together. Like we did everything together. And then we started doing the deeper work. We fell apart. Like our friendship was like done. 2 years later, we become friends again. And the reason why I'm in Costa Rica is because of her. And she introduced me to where I live now, and she's actually here, and I'm hanging out with her today, celebrating her birthday tonight. So that's a short story. We've had like such a crazy life together, but I'm so grateful for her because she really taught me that if somebody's meant to be in your life, no matter what happens, they will be in your life. Like even if you have a fallout, like you will come together with the souls you're meant to come together with.
This was a powerful conversation.
Yeah.
You know, you was talking the one book that comes to mind, and I think you might like it. It's called The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan, one of my favorite author. And if you've heard that book before, have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. The Gap and the Gain. And it's a really, really good book. It kind of helps you frame the past and the future, right? You know, the gap is your ideal outcome, like the future, the horizon, and the gain is where you started from to where you are right now. So is that oftentimes we live in the gap because we future think and we chasing the next thing, and you can always feel in the gap. You can always feel not enough, right? Because you're living in the gap. But again, if you measure from where you started to where you are, like man, I made great progress. So then it fills you up and make you feel better. For example, me, I look back where I started from in Jamaica when I first growing up in Jamaica to how poor I was to where I'm at in my life. I actually made progress. There's no way I could feel like I'm not making progress, right? So even I think Sadhguru said the same thing. Is like we're on the winning side of life, right? We're on the profit side of life. You start off with nothing, with nothing. Everything you have right now is a profit. You've gained a lot. So no day can you wake up saying that I'm at a loss because you started from nothing.
That's so true.
So
Thank you for
I would
that.
recommend the gap and again to you. So what is your biggest takeaway from this conversation before we close?
I mean, that. But literally that, I'm like, wow, you just like touched my soul so deeply because yeah, I've been so focused on taking this last week to get really clear and like, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? But I have been feeling like subtle like messages of like, can you like sit back and realize how much you've done? Like you're focusing so much on where you want to go, but like, because there's parts of me that are like upset because I'm not further along or like more successful like I thought I would be, and like these, like, parts that are coming up to be met of, like, comparing myself to other people and, like, "Why am I not further along? My work is so transformational, it's so powerful." I know that that's, like, part of the contraction that I'm in right now before the expansion, and I feel like part of, like, the pathway into the expansion right now is, like, sitting back and, like, really, like, maybe writing, like, you're inspiring me to write and just write about what my heroine's journey has been, like, also growing up in poverty, first generation American, having to figure out how to survive in this, just crazy stuff that my reality should look completely different on paper, and it's not. It's like a much more elevated reality than what someone who went through what I went through in my childhood
Mhm.
has, most people. So that was my biggest takeaway from this. So thank you for that, and I'm definitely gonna read that book.
Okay. And I'll close with saying that your history is your intellectual property. If you don't claim it, if you don't own it, then why would the universe give you more future if you're not going to do anything with your past?
Let's go. So good. You're so wise.
All right, team. This is a great conversation. Joanna, make it a utterly, utterly fantastic day. And the folks that are listening, don't forget to subscribe and share.
Yeah, thank you so much.